Welcome to episode 1 of the Airplane Mode podcast with EF Ultimate Break. I'm your host, Sarah Baus, and Airplane Mode is a travel podcast where we're going to feature travel creators sharing stories, inspiration, and tips. And of course, we want to hear from the Ultimate Break community just like you. So go ahead, turn your airplane mode on, and let's get started. Today, we are talking to Emma Topp. She is EF's social producer, and she's an influencer. She's a travel expert. She has also been to 34 countries, 5 of those visits being to the country that we were talking about today, Italy. Emma, I'm so happy to have you here on Airplane Mode.
Hey girl, thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to chat with you. I've been to Italy. You've also been to Italy several times. So I need to know, as somebody you've been to Italy many more times. I've only been twice. You've been to 5 times. What is your perfect day in Italy, especially as it being a place that you can really bounce around?
Italy, I'm an itinerary girl, I will say. I love having a plan, but also having somewhere that no matter what you do, you're guaranteed to have a good time. Food, vintage, beach, tan, spritz, all of it repeat over and over again. You could put me anywhere in that country. I'd be happy as a clam. I love Italy. And 5 visits down, hopefully many more to go. So
all of that vibe, it fits every visit I've ever done to Italy. I love it so much. The first time you went to Italy, do you remember what called you to go?
I went to Italy, funnily enough, my first time with EF Ultimate Break. So technically, I had a random text from one of my friends at the company at the time when I was solely influencing, being like, how does it sound to be sipping spritzes in a few weeks in Italy? And I was like, I will do anything. I'll clear my schedule. I don't care what you need from me. I'm going to be there. And it ended up being a visit to Venice. And I was like, do you think I could go a few days early? I kind of want to get there, have time to breathe. And at the time I'm a solo female traveler, but I hadn't had a trip that was just me. So I was like, am I a hoax or can I actually do it? Even though I'm meeting a group later, I want to get there first. Oh, I was stressed out of my mind, but it was Venice. So it was amazing.
Oh, and you kept coming back.
Oh yeah.
What made you keep going back to Italy?
I think once you've established you like a certain place, it's say it's your family vacation every year. It's that's where I'm my most carefree, most relaxed. I like the people. I like the environment. I like myself when I'm there. You're going to keep doing that. I'm happy to explore the rest of the world. I plan on doing so. But if I'm where's a place you want to go to relax that you know is going to be good? Italy.
Yeah. Oh, I feel the same way. There are some trips for me that are exploratory. They're the new places. Mm-hmm. It's, I'm ready to go, have an itinerary, all new things. And then I have my destinations and I'm no, it's going back to my heart. It's going back to when they say
a happy place.
Yeah. Soul cities. This is where I'm meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay. The first time you went to Italy, actually, I'd say because you have different experiences every time. Mm-hmm. What were 3 things that met your expectations? That you were oh yeah, this, or even maybe went beyond, and 3 things that surprised you?
I would say that I am generally an easy person to please because I don't like being disappointed. So I always set my expectations extremely low with everything across the board ever. And so, it's Italy. I feel I definitely have a fairy tale expectation of what's it going to be like? And I'm going to be twirled in the streets by an Italian man and he's going to feed me pasta and wine. And for sure that's happened, but it's not going to happen every time,
Yeah.
And so every spritz I've had has been great. Every pasta dish I've had has been great. I will say, I think I was under the impression that vodka pasta is a very popular standard dish everywhere you run around. Turns out it's extremely Americanized, and that's not the case.
Isn't that? There's so many things that I go to Europe. I'm what do you mean? What do you mean?
Yeah.
Where is this? This is at my local Italian restaurant. Why don't you have it? I'm oh.
New York told me that would be happening, and North End said that'd be happening. So, guys, where is it at?
No. Where is it?
This is the origin. You guys obviously know it better than I do. So, I will just take whatever you have to offer me. I feel I've never had any, not terrible experiences, but I've never been underwhelmed by something. Because for me, to just appreciate that I'm even just standing there, even if it's a grocery run, I'm guys, I'm going to the grocery store, but in Italy. This is so fun. This is so fun.
In grocery stores in Italy, grocery stores in Europe in general, different. Shopping for food in Europe, different.
Just fun.
It's so fun.
You're taking the time, you're putting things in your little cart, and you're maybe I wouldn't eat this at home, but I'm here, so I'm gonna try it. You're like a little bit like, I just love who I am when I'm traveling because she's so fun. She's that girl.
I love it. No, and based on your content, you look like that girl. Like you're you do a really good job of like showing the essence, showing the vibe of Italy. Now, I heard that you have a unique travel quality. I heard that you're a travel crier. And you have an overwhelm of emotion. I want to hear more about the times, especially in Italy, that you have been overwhelmed by emotion that have brought those tears.
I honestly probably think the first time I had my first real spritz in Italy, there was probably tears. Like,
so real.
Just because I was like, guys, this is amazing. I think definitely seeing Venice for the first time was huge. Walking around by myself after dinner, it's a bit quieter. I'm just with my own self, and like I'm in the middle of somewhere, maybe because there's a couple cobblestones, a dimly lit street. I'm like, this is crazy. Like I'm just running around here, and nobody knows that I'm here, and I don't know anyone here. I can be anyone that I want. It's like, I don't know, the most magical, freeing feeling ever.
It seems like you like to do things that aren't just, you said you like an itinerary, but you also like to just sort of explore and see the city for, times like after dinner when it's more quiet. Is there any like destinations or any spots that are maybe off the beaten path, maybe off the typical itinerary that you recommend?
I think that the one, like not the one benefit, but like one of the underrated benefits of having a platform and traveling so often is that you have thousands of people at your disposal to either give you recommendations or swipe up and just tell you tidbits. And there's been so many times when I've been traveling and they've been like, my family owns this restaurant, or my best friend works this cafe, or like, I went with my boyfriend to like this place and we had the best time ever. Like, please ask for blank and you will have the best time in the world. And I've never had a recommendation lead me astray, to be honest. And my friend's cousin works at this restaurant in Venice, and every time I go, I have to go see her. She's awesome. And they have this like spicy shrimp pasta, and I had a Venetian spritz, which is not Aperol, it's Campari based, so it's red. And you know what? I'll be honest. I think it tastes bad. But I will still get one because I'm like, but it's a Venetian spritz.
But it's here.
It's here. And I just think any like establishment or experience that has like a personal rec of like, I had a best time there. That's what I'm doing right now is I'm collecting these places and experiencing them to then give them out to other people who are traveling. So I think like the collective community of like sharing bits like that is like so special.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah. I love that your spot to visit had to do with food.
Yeah. For sure.
That's how I travel. I travel through my stomach. I'm like, I just want to eat everything around me. And you live in Boston's Little Italy area, right?
Yes. I fortunately and unfortunately have access to unlimited pasta anytime I like snap my fingers. There's like Aperol spritz, pistachio martini, cannolis like up to my chin. I need to hold back.
How does the food compare? Because if you have that at home, like going over to Italy, we talked about like it's different. There's different dishes, but since you have access to it all the time, does it get old?
I will say I think they make a mean penne alla vodka in the North End. You can find some really intense, like maybe more American fusion dishes that are not as standard Italian as you would over there. But I mean, you can't really beat the experience anywhere in the world, Italy, North End, Boston, of like eating a big fat pasta dish, splitting a bottle of wine, either by yourself or with someone you love, and then just walking around and underneath like lights and fun and people running around like on the evening, like you could put me anywhere at that and I'd be happy. So, I mean, Italy obviously is premium, but
the energy is so different. The energy in Italy is so, you said it earlier, you said magical and freeing. Yeah. 100%. And I've done the big city. I've done Amalfi, like by the coast. I do love the coast just because I am a water baby at heart. Like I love being near the water. And you're right. Like I have my pasta. I'm looking at the water, at the boats. The sun's like going down. I'm like, unfortunately, there is nothing better than this. I'm sitting there and I'm like, you're right. I'll get emotional just looking out. I'm like, I cannot believe I am sitting here in this moment right now. And you've done quite a bit of solo travel in Italy. Any tips for anybody who is going to Italy and traveling solo? That could be very scary, especially like you're saying, like these times that you're at peace or, you're alone and at peace. But are there times as well that you're like, I don't know what to do. What am I going to do around me? I
think the biggest issue that I have, like, or like advice for someone is that a lot of people, you want to bring a big suitcase. As a maximalist, I get it. But when you're in Italy, you're primarily using the train. So if you cannot carry your suitcase down a hill, you're pretty much screwed. Like, you have to be able to carry your belongings at least, like, as much as you can carry, because no one likes struggling on the train, running for the train, lifting it above the overhead on the train. It's an overstimulating, sweating, crying nightmare. And then you're by yourself, you're gonna cry. I have cried. We've all been there.
We've all been there.
We've all been there. I would say, you know, you have to pack what you can carry. And I think a lot of people have these like super rose-tinted expectations for a lot of Italy. And I feel like certain places are 100% like that. Amalfi Coast is gorgeous. Sorrento's like that. I think Venice is awesome. And so I would just say, like, I don't know, I think not like temper your expectations, but you have to like take acknowledgement with a grain of salt. Like, you're in Italy. This is a major functioning metropolitan city.
Has there been a time where you've gotten overwhelmed or maybe you've gotten analysis paralysis and didn't know what to do next? If somebody's solo traveling, do you have any advice on how to get over that?
I think the biggest advice I can offer is that anywhere you are, you can always take a beat, a pause. Like, when the first time I ever went to Venice, which was my first trip to Italy ever, I was actually really, really sick. And Venice during the summer is like incredibly hot. I wouldn't recommend visiting like peak June, peak July, unless you're okay with taking a slower pace. So I was, you know, dehydrated. My body kind of felt like it was shutting down. And I remember like walking, I was too scared to figure out the water taxis because I'd already tried once, gotten rejected. And I was like, oh, I'm the dumbest American alive. I hate my life, which is such a normal thing
You to feel,
when you're traveling.
yeah.
It happens to everybody, but you just feel so like, you know, defeated in the moment. So I was like using the Rialto Bridge because it's like one of the only cross points you can use across like the island. So it adds like an extra 40-minute walk every time. So I was dehydrated, sick, sad, you know, upset. And I remember just entering a square and I literally was like, if I don't sit down right now, like I'm going to pass out. And so I sat down on the ground. It's like 100 degrees. And I'm like, not I suck, but I was just like, oh, I'm in Venice. I'm supposed to have this amazing time. And like, I can't even like figure out the water taxi. And I feel like I'm going to pass out. Like, this is awful. And you have to realize that the expectation to like get everything right in the first try, it's not going to happen. Set your expectations there now because you're always going to be disappointed. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. And I think also like when you're in a city like Venice or anywhere in Italy, like it's pretty tourist centric. It is okay to ask for help. I think I used to view that as a weakness or like it meant I lost something because I'm a very independent person. But jumping in somewhere and being like, hey, how do I get here? Or like, where is the closest water fountain? Or do you have a bathroom? Or stopping to have a spritz or coffee or whatever. It's like rethinking something, like reformulating and adjusting is not a detriment to your plans. You have to be fluid. Otherwise, you're setting yourself up for failure like the entire time.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I've had that time where I felt guilty because I was like, okay, I'm going to take like an hour, 2 hours to just stop because I need to gather myself because everything has gone wrong because of my, you know, me trying to bulldoze through something or try to be the best traveler when in fact, just take a moment. Let's do some research. Let's ask for help. Figure out your next move. You're going to save a lot more time if you take that hour to 2 hours to calm down and then we'll get back to it. Yeah, no, I totally
agree. Or at least
agree.
like, you know, plan the night before a little bit. Or I feel like the biggest thing that I have is I get crippling anxiety certain times when it comes to getting pictures sometimes. I travel with a tripod. I love a good solo picture. But sometimes when you're traveling at these like super tourist-centric locations, you know, you can't really set up a tripod on your phone. There's always a concern someone's going to swipe it. You know, that happens occasionally. There's always a fear. Can I outrun the person who just took my phone? Who knows? And so I think you kind of get into a weird feeling of like, I want an Instagram picture, but I want to ask someone for it. Like, is this awkward? Like, these are people my age, but I feel
all
so
through your
embarrassing.
mind. Yep.
I'm alone. They're not. This is middle school again. Like, it's a whole thing. And then you have to realize that everyone that's there is trying to get a fun picture for themselves, for their family, for social media, for memories, all of it. It's not outrageous to ask them for a photo. So I tend to walk up to somebody if they're by themselves or a group and be like, hey, I'll take your photo if you take mine. And I've never had someone be like, you're a freak, tell me no. Like, it's such a, you have to stop thinking about yourself so much in that angle because we just think about ourselves as a whole way too much.
Way too much.
Everyone's there to enjoy it, for a nice picture, for a good time. You pat each other on the back, you help each other out, and you guys will never think about that ever again.
Yeah.
It's not embarrassing, for real.
My mom would always say, like, Sarah, you're thinking about yourself too much. You think other people are thinking about you. They're doing the same thing that you're doing. They're thinking about yourselves. People are too worried about themselves to worry about you. And I was like, oh, you're right, I guess.
Dang it.
Dang it.
You're always right, that girl. Yeah.
All right. We're going to enter into our segment called Carry On Only. And I think for this, we should get into something more comfortable. Emma, do you agree?
I think you're 100% correct.
Let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Look at us. How cute are we?
Andiamo, girls.
Love it. All right. I've got 5 rapid fire questions for you. Fast as you can. We're just gonna go, go, go.
Okay.
It'll be great.
Okay.
It'll be great. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. First one. Must have packing item for Italy.
Noise canceling headphones.
Ooh, that's a good one. Best pizza you've ever had in Italy.
Oh. I went to the famous pizzeria in Naples. They went to an Eat, Pray, Love to die for.
Really?
Yes.
As good as they say.
Oh, God, it seats like 8 people. It was insane. It was so good.
Oh my God, I'm jealous. Best cocktail.
Aperol spritz, always, forever and always. Hands down.
I'm a Hugo girl, but I can appreciate it. All right, Italian word. Say something in Italian.
Andiamo!
Hey!
Hey!
There we go. I was like, I bet I know what word she's gonna pick. And then when I say Italy, what is the first thing that comes to your mind?
Like all of the good things ever? What's one word that comes to mind?
I know.
Honestly, spritz.
Spritz.
Yeah.
Spritz. I love
Spritz.
it.
Spritz.
And that encapsulates all the magic and the like friendship and fun and freeing feeling. I think that's a good one.
Spritz, if you're having a spritz, chances are your spirits are already lifted. You're sitting down, first of all. Amazing.
Yeah.
You're probably with your friends or by yourself. And if you have your headphones on, you're listening to music, or you're playing cards, or you're gossiping, you're taking a break, a pause to enjoy the day. It's never a bad time.
Never a bad time.
No.
I love it. Oh, that's so fun. That was a good one. I want to hear more about your solo travel tips. I want to hear about your solo travel experiences. I remember the first time that I did my first like solo travel experience, and for my first time I went on a group trip, and so it was that like solo but with a group, which I loved as somebody who's social but also didn't want to be completely by myself. It was a really great experience.
Yes.
And I remember how long I contemplated going and those feelings and the nerves. So I want to talk about what your first solo trip was and how did you feel about that on an emotional level, because it's a very emotional decision and emotional experience.
I guess technically I studied abroad alone. So I did my program by myself, and I flew to Amsterdam and boarded a ship full of 400 students that I had no idea who they were. And I was like one of the only kids from Virginia. I didn't know anyone before going on. And then I spent 4.5 months living on a ship, essentially sailing from Europe to Africa to South America. So like that was a huge solo, like with a group. And then I had my first like leaving the country solo truly experience with EF as well. I did London, Paris, Barcelona. I think the best thing about traveling solo with a group is like you have the choice to be fully by yourself, but you have like bumper rails. Like if you're bowling, you have like a little bit of guidance. And if like you want more input, you can get that. You have questions, there's somebody there for you to ask questions with. If you want to go hang out with people, you also can do that. It's like a little bumper padded room version of solo traveling to like, I think, prep you for that. And I think, traveling solo with a group, you do not have to think. I think that is the best asset.
The best. No, that is absolutely the best. It takes away the analysis paralysis. I 100% agree.
100%. You don't have to, you're not sweating and crying and lugging your bag. You can put it on the bus. You're not, so concerned of where you're going. I don't know where to go directions. You can ask your TD. You're like, I have no one to take my picture. You have a group of 20-some people that are ready to Instagram you up. And it's just like, all you have to do is plan the outfits. And for like, if you're paralyzed by fear of traveling, that's the best, ladder I can offer you to be like, don't throw yourself in the middle of nowhere unless you think you would thrive, Yeah. Take the hand out. Take a hand, grab a friend, go solo, but have that little group dynamic to help you if you need it. And like that, I think alone gave me the confidence to then truly be a solo traveler. Because I think I got to like, learn skills and try things out and like entertain and like learn how I was in certain situations without having the full paralyzing situation of being I'm fully alone. And not everybody needs that, but I think it bolstered my confidence to the point that I was like, oh, I can so do this now. And I so enjoy now fully being alone on trips or going with a group too, because you can really have the best of both worlds.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree. I always tell people, I always recommend they're like, okay, I'm worried, I'm going out of the country for the first time, or I want to go solo, or I want to go out of the country, but I don't have anybody to go with. I'm like, group travel is phenomenal. You also learn, if you haven't traveled like that before, if you haven't traveled abroad, you learn what kind of abroad traveler you are.
Yep.
You learn your preferences. You learn who you are in another country, because that is different. I learned so much about myself. My first time leaving the country was with EF Ultimate Break. And so such a big place in my heart.
I think people have the misconception that some group travel trips is like so overstimulating
And herded like cattle or something.
Like, everyone take your handhold on like the rope and we're gonna lead you to these spots. And like, if that's what you need, you can probably ask for that. But it's not hand holding. It's just more like general guidance. And so I've been very lucky to be able to go on these group trips and have my pieces of alone time. A free day. I love you guys so much. I met you 2 days ago. I will see you tomorrow. I'm going off my headphones and I'm having a day.
I love that. No, I wanted to ask, because I get asked that question a lot, because I'm a golden retriever extrovert. And I get questions a lot about like, can introverts go on these group travel trips? And I'm like, oh, yes, you can. Like, there is a wide range of people going.
For sure.
So when you are solo traveling, can you describe that feeling of waking up, maybe that first day, and you're like, oh, I am in a foreign country. I am away from home and I am alone. Can you describe that feeling?
I think for a lot of people, they would feel like that is overwhelming or crushing, but there is not a more freeing feeling than that for me. I think in a lot of ways that is reflective of how I felt growing up in a lot of different situations of like, I felt very perceived in all situations, you know, being on social media in college and high school, like, there's always eyes on you. People are talking about you. Like, people will take pictures of you in public. And like, not like I'm some super mega star, but like when you're like the one person on your campus that does social media, it's like, you're the talk of the town a little bit. You know, Yik Yak is running rampant, unfortunately.
Yik Yak is running rampant.
Greek is being loud. So, you know, it's a whole thing. And so I think that I made a post one time when I was actually on an EF trip to Ireland. And I was like, what does it say about me that I feel the most like myself when I'm thousands of miles away from anyone that I know? And I think I'd like that really encapsulates like feeling so free to know that no one's perceiving me in a way that's immediately forming a judgment. I don't know anybody here. Like, I can fully just relax and like enjoy without having anything in the back of my mind. Like, for me is like the most, I'm being set free. I've jumped off the building. Like, I feel so much like myself. And I feel like at this point I kind of have a routine, just like get my feet on the ground, whether where I am. I mean, it could be Tokyo, could be Prague, could be Venice, could be anywhere. You wake up, the first order of business is obviously a cafe. You got to find a cute little cafe. You got to get a coffee, a little bit of breakfast. And then what are you doing? You're pulling up the vintage spots around town. And I'm vintage crawling around town. If there's a museum, oh, what a bonus. There's the afternoon. A bookstore, this is amazing. A museum gift shop, we're also hitting that. And then we're going to find the best dinner ever, have a few drinks of wine, maybe take a bottle back to the apartment. And I can just either sit and read, edit, open the window, enjoy, and I am so fulfilled. I could do that every day for the rest of my life. Happiest camper in the world.
I love that. I love that plan. And I like you. You're like, I know my routine, no matter where I am. I know generally like what 100%. Is going to make me happy in this moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you've been to a bunch of different countries solo. Do you have recommendations, especially as a woman solo traveler, things that you do, barriers that you put up, preparations that you make to make sure that you feel safe when you're traveling solo as a woman?
For sure. I think there's also so much discourse, especially modernly online, about women traveling solo, women traveling in general. And I think a lot of it is good intentioned, but I think a lot of it is also misplaced. You know, like, you know, fear mongering is definitely a thing.
Yep.
And I think there's a lot of like, you know, words and feelings surrounding certain places of like, you should never go there, it's too dangerous. And I think it's always important to keep the same level of awareness of wherever I am. You know, I'm always head in a swivel. My headphones might be on, but half the time I'm not listening to music because I'm just using that as like either a diversion or a lock-in tactic, you know. Yes, traveling, you're by yourself, but also like I also keep those same values in place for when I'm at home or just walking around in public in general, because you really don't know these days. I would always say I'm a big fan of Google Maps, mapping where you're walking, you know, making sure. I do try to do like a general internet scoop of like, where should I really not be at night, or like what's a concern? You know, a couple years ago, like it was the big grievance with like Barcelona and pickpocketing and stuff like that. It's like the biggest advice I can give you is just with no sugar added, don't be an idiot. Yeah. Like, it's really not that difficult to avoid some situations that people are in. You know, it's like no phone in the back pocket. Try to avoid a backpack if you can, front of the body, no bags open. Maybe don't go somewhere with noise canceling headphones dead of night in an alleyway. And I think those hold true beyond just traveling, like day-to-day lifestyle stuff. I think the best thing that I've learned is to walk with purpose, because you walk with confidence, even though if it's totally misplaced. Half of mine, total lie. It's not real. But everyone else thinks that it is, and that's the intention, Walk with purpose, walk with reason. If people try to approach you when you're traveling, half the time it is either gauged as a scam or it's something you just probably shouldn't engage with. And there's a way to diffuse that without being like, I'm not interested, sorry. I've been approached by men when I'm traveling all the time. And it's very much like, oh, what are you doing later? And I'm like, I'm actually so busy. I'm so sorry. Have a good night, And just purposely avoiding things that could lead to things you might not want to be in, obviously. And just being smart and being generally aware. I think I have a rule that I try to live by that's like, make sure I'm not landing and navigating to my housing anywhere at night in a new country. I always want daylight hours to figure that out. If there's room for mistakes, figure that out too. I'm also not against bringing like the doorstops when you travel. Yeah. I've been a pretty big advocate for that. Like anything to like ensure peace of mind. And if you're having so much anxiety about that already, like I also think the group travel thing, solo with a group, is a big way to ease that fear, because you're staying in a hostel or a hotel where 30 other people that are on the same program as you, and there's somebody in charge that can help you with X, Y, and Z. But it helps like create another barrier to ease any fears or thoughts, obviously. But as a girl solo traveling, be aware, be alert, headphones on, walk with confidence, and don't take anyone's shit, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's fair here, there, at home. I think a lot of people think they can exploit tourists, especially female tourists. And if you're just firm, it teaches you a lot about decision making and knowing what you want and like actually holding to your word. And I feel like women don't feel endorsed necessarily to like mean what they say a lot of times. Like they have to be super kind. And it's like, no, you owe this man on the street nothing. So shut him down and walk away. And that's okay.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the same safety rules that I think about when I'm going on a night on the town in my hometown with my girls are the same that I take when I am traveling. Make sure I know where my belongings are, make sure I know how I'm getting home, make sure I know my surroundings and who's around me. I totally agree. And if somebody is feeling that anxiety, that like that is the one thing that's keeping them from going, group travel was how I got comfortable, how you got comfortable. Like it is such a great experience to dip your toes in, still have that independence, still have that like learning about yourself, but with a guide, with some like a direct source of, if you have a question anytime, you actually have somebody that you can go to and say, hey, how do I get here? Hey, what areas do you recommend me not going? The itinerary, it's all like very nice. It's very handy. So now with traveling with a group, speaking of which,
yes,
my favorite part of traveling with a group has been the connections I've made, the relationship that I've made, the people that I still talk to this day from my first trip in 2015. Like I have such a place in my heart for that. And I'm sure that you've made these connections as well. Can you talk about the emotional connections that you've made on your group travel trips where you are traveling solo?
I really think that, you love where you are when you travel. Like it's all about the place, but a big chunk of that is the people. And I think once you're also comfortable traveling by yourself, you realize that the people you're happy by yourself, but the people that you're with can be such an asset to elevate everything around you. Every single EF trip I've taken, I have left with friends that I still talk to this day.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, I just a couple weeks ago, like I met a couple actually on my last trip to Japan, like last group travel trip. And we just loved them. Like we hung out all the time. And then he texted me about their engagement like early. And then I got to see, I get some of the first pictures of the engagement, and then we're visiting them soon. And I still have friends from my first trip when I went to Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I have people that I met in Germany that I visited last summer. Those relationships are just the best. And I really can't stress enough like how much that that setting, and when you're all in a new place and you're all experiencing things at the same time. Some people are new travelers, some people are experienced travelers, but you're all sort of in, it kind of feels like camp. You're like it feels like camp. You're like, and then, maybe the trip is 10 days, you experience this 10 days in a whirlwind, and then you look around, you're like, what do you mean that I haven't known these people my entire life? That's crazy.
There's something to be said about travel friendships, especially studying abroad, traveling so much. I've like now collected, I feel like, a group of people like all over the world.
All over the world.
And now I can visit them, but it's also like you learn so many new things about yourself and also them. And it's like, maybe I met them last week, but I've been in so many situations that I've never been with anybody else. So weirdly, they know me better than a lot of people. And so it's a way to kind of like, not necessarily speed up the friendship, but you get so close with people without even realizing it. So fast. And you leave and you're like, it's been 10 days. This is so weird. Like, why do I feel like these are my sisters right now?
Yeah. No, totally. What advice do you have for any women right now that are feeling that calling and are getting blocked by fear, by self-doubt? Because we've literally, anybody who's done it, me, you, has been there.
I would say it's fascinating because every time that I take a solo trip, I'll be on the airplane and I'll be like, oh my God, can I do this? Even though I have field experience and I have proven data that I can do it and have done it, having doubts and fears are so reasonable, and it happens to all of us all the time. And you're always going to have a million and thousand reasons of why you shouldn't do something. People are going to tell you to wait, I'll do it with you, or like maybe one day, or like the group chat's like, yeah, sounds like a good idea, but I don't know. In reality, you'll learn that the only person that can make things happen for yourself is literally you. I'm so glad that I'm reminded myself of A, what I can do, B, who I am. It betters me in like every single way.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I totally agree. Something for me as well, I think that the women that I've met on the trips that I've been on have been a huge impact on my confidence in how I've traveled. Do you feel the same? Like, have you met other women that have just kind of changed the way you travel, or even like inspired me to go on the next solo trip and keep traveling by myself?
I think there's every time I meet a woman on an EF trip, it's like you also took the leap of confidence to like book this either by yourself or with a friend, and we're all here for the first time, like meeting each other and doing all these things together as a first time experience. And so that already in itself is such an impactful, meaningful experience, because I feel like I always meet so many girlies like from the Midwest on EF trips, and they're like, it's my first time out of the country and I'm from Indiana and I'm so excited. And I feel like seeing their excitement like mirrors my own, also like reinvigorates me to be like, this really is the coolest thing ever. I've also met so many women like day to day, like my servers or the girl at the coffee shop or a girl at the bookshop, where I docked into a thrift shop one time and I was like, hi, like, do you know where I can get a bottle of water? And she's like, oh, come to the back, I'll fill your water bottle. Or like, I think you would like this dress, like little things like that. Or how about you try this meal? Or I think you would love this. They just like tailor the experience to be like, it's me, I'm here, you're a girl too. Even though you're a girl that's Italian and lives in Venice, we're still all just girls together. And like reminding me of like the universal like empathy and kindness. It's just like, there are so many people out there that you are going to meet, that you are going to love or cherish your experience with. And if you don't leave, you're never going to meet them. And they're just out there waiting for you. And like the girl who served me my pad thai in Ireland 4 years ago, who talked to me about like astrology for like 40 minutes, probably doesn't think about me that often, but I think about her all the time.
No, it's those girlhood moments. Like some of my favorites have been like the girls that I've met, and then we found other girls who are traveling, or there's girls on the trip, or again, like people you meet, your servers or whatever, and then you become friends, and then it's like, oh, I don't have anything to wear to this dinner that we wanted to go to. Oh, well, here's my suitcase. Like, pick out anything. There's a girl from Australia I met once, and she borrowed my dress for dinner because we vibed in the 10 minutes that we talked to each other, and we took pictures together, and it was super cute, and I still stay in touch with her on Instagram.
I think also everybody has a misconception that like, I need a girl group at home to go out and take a trip with.
Wrong.
They're
everywhere. There's women, girls everywhere saying, oh, I want to go, but I just don't have anybody to go with.
It's so true. Every time I've gone on an EF trip, I've always gone alone, and I get there and a girl group ends up forming.
And
like,
coagulate.
Give us one dinner. Give us like literally 2 hours.
Give us one spritz.
Those are your girls for the next week.
Exactly.
And I talk to them and their moms, weirdly enough, still to this day.
That's a prime example. And there is, every trip you go on, there's going to be that. And there's going to be those connections. It's the best. It's the absolute best. All right, are you ready for carry on only? We're going back into the rapid fire segment.
I'm ready.
Let's go for okay. I got 5 more questions. For you. You're going to do great. You killed the last one. So okay. I know you're going to kill this one. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
You get kind of nervous. You're like, okay. Okay. Must have for solo travel.
Good walking shoes.
Oh, that's a very good one. Oh, and underrated. Like, really, you find out what shoes you shouldn't have brought very quickly.
The thing is, if you're an Instagram girly and you want to wear some heels, totally fair. A, make sure they're walkable. B, make sure they're packable. Don't eat up a fourth of your suitcase for these stupid shoes you're going to wear once, okay?
You won't wear them.
You need cute sneakers. You know?
Yeah.
They're cute with dresses. They're Euro anyways. They're comfortable, not going to hurt your feet. And when you're doing 30,000 step days, you're going to say thank you. Blister-free zone, okay?
100%. Totally agree. All right, so you wake up, solo traveling. You don't know what to do. What's your first move?
Cute cafe.
Cute cafe.
Cute cafe.
Yeah.
Cute cafe. Always.
Perfect. What is the next destination that you want to travel to solo?
Ooh, I have been dying to go to Seoul. South Korea is calling my name for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a very good one. All right, next one. Top place that you recommend for first-time female solo travelers?
Edinburgh up top, London, Amsterdam. Always.
Oh my God. 3 golden answers.
Yep.
Fabulous answers.
Yep.
Edinburgh was one place that I walked in and I
it's
teared
so
up.
You.
I teared
it's
up.
So you.
I really did.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at all. Like I kind of went like it was a middle city for me to meet a friend, and I walked out and I was like, actually, I love it here.
I love it here. Yep.
All right, last one. You ready? 3 words that describes solo traveling as a female.
Empowering, satisfying, and fun.
Yep. Agreed. Those are good ones.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. You killed it. Great job. Emma, thank you so much for coming on to Airplane Mode. This was so fun.
Thanks for having me. I loved it.
And thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe, share this podcast if you enjoyed it. And the seatbelt sign is now off. And we will see you in the next episode. Bye.